It is the process of embracing our imperfections that we can find our truest gifts: courage, compassion, and connection.
Just before night, everyone loves this golden hour, air like mead of sun-kissed flowers.
Embodying self-compassion is easier said than done. Here in this short video, I'm going to bring in some very honest, transparent practicing as I play music. For me, when I touch base with my inner child and my free spirit using music, it's often the times where I feel another part of me emerge, the one that is perfectionistic, the one that holds the burden in order to feel worthy only through perfection and excellence. Now, in one hand, there's nothing wrong with seeking excellence. Every musician knows that they have to practice the scales to be able to then play a masterpiece. Here, this graphic that I created really goes to show the inner sensation of the weight upon my own self when I put so much pressure on performance versus being in the moment and delighting in the artistry and pleasure of making music. Isn't it ridiculous that oftentimes we're much kinder to others than to our inner child, to ourselves? I love how Kristin Neff, author of Self-Compassion, wrote to describe about self-kindness. Self-kindness involves more than merely stopping self-judgment. It involves actively comforting ourselves, responding just as we would to a dear friend in need. It means we allow ourselves to be emotionally moved by our own pain, stopping to say, "Oh, this is really difficult right now. How can I care for and comfort myself in this moment?" With self-kindness, we soothe and calm our troubled minds. We make peace offerings of warmth, gentleness, and sympathy from ourselves to ourselves, so that true healing can occur. In this video, you will see me in my silly, vulnerable self trying to practice a song that I love. The song is by Feist called Gatekeepers, and I wanted to really practice and also demonstrate to audiences what it's like to try to enter in new levels of self-kindness, self-comfort, and encouragement to oneself, even though one may be struggling at the same time with radically opposite thoughts.
A June, July, and August said it's probably hard to plan ahead. A June, July, and August said it's better to bask in each other. A gatekeeper season.
So here already, I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, your voice is so, maybe you should just stop. Maybe you should just try to drink some water and warm up your voice again because it's not sounding good at all. Just stop. Oh, then as I'm doing that, I missed a chord, you know? Isn't that funny how that happens? You focus so much on that negative thought that you can't just enjoy the music.
Well, I tried to stay in from the vlog and the rain and the Let's do that again. All right. Well, they tried to stay in. What did they stay in? They did some popcorn and played some games. How did Fi sing it? Well, they tried to stay in from the cold and the rain. That's right, okay. Well, they tried to stay in from the cold and the wind making love.
Oh, what's the bother? You can't sing ever like the way Fi sings the song.
This is why I'm not a professional musician. No. End the negative self-scripts, okay? You're a therapist. You need to model and embody Self-compassion. Look at yourself. Look at yourself. Let's do this. I love music. I play music. I can play this song. I enjoy playing this song, even if it's not perfect. How's that for self-compassion? Okay. Verse 2. What was the lyrics again?
I think at some point in our creative life and entrepreneurship, we're going to have a lot of fears, and especially the fear of failure. This is what Kristin Neff says in her book Self-Compassion. Sometimes the emotions underlying our habitual procrastination run deeper. If the task is an important one, like starting a big creative work project, we're often daunted by the possibility of failure. The feelings of fear that comes up when thinking about taking on the project, and the feelings of unworthiness that comes up when we think about possibly blowing it, can be overwhelming. Again, when we don't want to experience unpleasant emotions, procrastination is a very common way to tune out. And sometimes our unconscious tries to sabotage us so that if we do fail, we can avoid feeling unworthy by blaming our failure on not having enough time to do the job well, etc. If this pattern is habitual, it could seriously limit the extent to which you reach your full potential. Remember that all people fail sometimes. It's part of the human condition. And every failure is an incredible, powerful learning opportunity. Promise yourself that if you do fail, you'll be kind, gentle, and understanding with yourself, rather than going back to those harsh self-scripts, self-criticism. Comfort the scarred little child inside of you who doesn't want to venture into the dark unknown, assuring her that you'll be there to provide support along the way, and then see if you can take the plunge.
See, these people play such amazing music live, guitar, singing, expressing. You know, the more I practice, the more I realize how gifted they are. I am not there yet, but I'm excited to work towards that, okay? So let's keep going.
Tara Brach, author of Radical Acceptance, writes, "Feeling unworthy goes hand in hand with feeling separate from others, separate from life itself. If we're defective, how can we possibly belong? It seems like a vicious cycle. The more deficient we feel, the more separate and vulnerable we feel." I'm starting to retire the whole idea about failure and mistakes, especially when it comes to music. What I'm learning from the traditions of jazz is to embrace spontaneity. Even if it was a mistake, receive it radically, just like in therapy of radical acceptance. Work with it. Embrace that the note was a minor instead of a major, and then move on. Take in and delight in that moment. And so, musically, that's why I love scatting. It's like you're kind of doing this dance between venting and being, and chillin' and groovin'. It's not necessarily about thinking about the performance, but just working out your feels.
Now put it all together. Practice, 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 practice. Now do it. Thinking about, think with your face. Ooh. what happens a year and a half after COVID. You just like don't even know what to do with yourself. You're like wanting to be a musician, wanting to practice, and you're like, ooh, wow, I spend way too much time in front of my computer. I don't even know how to operate with my face anymore. Like expressions and being animated is what happens when you're with people in real life. Okay, one more time. The song Gatekeeper that I first heard by Feist, I'm not sure who wrote it. It's a metaphor. It's like a fable. It's a story of seasons personified that, you know, kind of have two little posses. You know, February and April, they're one posse. June, July, they're the summer posse. And then there's the gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper is kind of like the mom, you know, the Gaia, mama, you know, letting the kids out of the car type of person. So it's kind of it's a song about, you know, I don't know. Okay, but seriously, it's about longing. It's about waiting for seasons to change and coming into doing the things that certain seasons evoke us to do. But, you know, the chorus, gatekeeper, seasons wait for your nod. It's like, times in which you want to change and you're waiting for the summer to come so we can just all enjoy our summer like we used to. That's what I think this song is about for me. Okay, so let's just try to sing that embodied with all those essence. And try to sing the whole song, even if you make a mistake, just sing it through. Just sing it through. Okay. All right. Oops. All right. Let's do this. Learning to be an artist. Learning to be a musician with self-compassion. This is what we are doing. That's the priority. Excuse me. Good. Start with mindful breathing. Yiya, remember in this moment, music and this guitar and your songwriting, this is your playground. This is not a place in which you need to worry about performance. So enjoy it, delight in it, cherish the gift of music and your body interacting with this really cool instrument. Stay embodied. Enjoy the sensations of delight that comes through your body as you play. And of course, if you did have an audience, invite other people to delight in the way music invites the body to rhythm, to dance, to movement. Well, it's time to begin as the season sets in. It's the seed they build for new lovers. You play your part, painting in a new star, while each gate opens another. A June, July, and August said, it's
probably hard to plan ahead. June, July, and August said it's better to bask in each other. A gatekeeper, seasons wait for you now. There you have it, folks. This is how I practice self-compassion as I practice music, as someone who is recovering from perfectionism. And so join me in retiring that old pattern and bringing in a new level of emancipation into your creative artistry. I believe in you. Peace out. Wild swans rising. Behold, become.